I wanted to talk a bit about the spiritual side of dry fasting. So, as I say, I'm about a day into a 2.5 day dry fast, or a bit longer. My body has got used to it. I don't feel hungry or thirsty now. It's kicked into that mode of doing whatever's happening inside my body. The intestines are pulsing and cleaning themselves. I think autophagy has started and is going quite strongly. My body probably burning fat to get water and nourishment. So that's all happening at the minute. But one of the major things that kicks into motion when I'm on a dry fast is that I stop drinking and I stop eating, and the breath takes over. The breath becomes much more important. And I'm quite intrigued or interested that holographic breathing seems to really add something to dry fasting. As soon as I'm into the dry fast, almost instantly my mouth starts producing more water. Generally on dry fast, people complain because they get a dry mouth. For me, it's the other way around. And with holographic breathing, there's this very gentle suckling motion of the mouth. The lips are closed, the upper surface of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, the breath is through the nose, and the jaw gently opening on the in-breath, gently closing on the out-breath. I'll just demonstrate it so you can see. You probably won't even see the movement of the mouth, but I'll just do a couple of breaths so you can kind of get a sense. It's very meditative and healing. And you move into a very transcendental place straight away as soon as it starts, like it's deeply relaxing. But I think because of this very subtle suckling motion, it produces more saliva. And on a dry fast, that just seems to go into hyperdrive. It feels like this well of water or saliva is bubbling up in my mouth. And normally, I'd just be letting that go back and down my throat and into the stomach, and it wouldn't be so much. You get used to that in holographic breathing, but in the dry fast, produce a lot more. And what I do is, rather than just letting it go down my throat, I let it fill up my mouth, and I wash the tongue around it, and I whoosh it around the mouth until the mouth is completely full. And then I drink it down. So even though I'm on a dry fast, I'm drinking water or drinking fluid all of the time. And what it feels like is I'm not taking in fluids through the mouth, but it seems important to be drinking fluids, even if they're not coming from the outside, to circle the fluids in the body. And just naturally with the holographic breathing, just fills up my mouth with water. I leave it there. I think it energizes with this subtle motion of the jaw, suckling motion. It feels like prana is coming into that water and kind of breathing substance, energies, pranic energies, universal energies, spiritual energies are coming into that fluid. And then when you drink it down, that is nourishing the body. So for me, there is a extra thing that I don't think most people get on dry fast. So if you're a dry faster, it's worth learning holographic breathing and trying it out, try incorporating it into your dry fast. I'm running a webinar this Sunday, but I will leave a link to a previous webinar and that webinar when it's finished in the description below, and you'll be able to learn holographic breathing from that. Or you can come to the free webinars. I'll leave a link to the free webinar so you can learn it. And the other thing for the immune, one, I don't feel thirsty on a dry fast because I am drinking all the time, but also the mouth, the tongue, the saliva, this is producing a lot of nitric oxide. So all of this nitric oxide is coming out in the saliva and from the tongue and from the whole mouth. And nitric oxide will kill pathogens, bacteria, viruses, anything, any baddies, it will kill them. So by letting that fill the mouth, it's killing any bacteria in the mouth, any viruses. And I think also with this subtle motion of the tongue represents the body. So I think viruses and bacteria from the body are coming out of the tongue and being killed. And then you're drinking them back down. But an interesting thing happens in the mouth and in the sinuses. And that is that the nitric oxide doesn't just kill the bugs and stuff, it puts a marker on them. So when you swallow that back down, it notifies your main immune system through your body that there's this bug, there's this virus, there's this bacteria. And so it's like a vaccine and your body starts fighting that. So for me, this is a wonderful healing mechanism for dry fasting. One, you're on a dry fast, but you're drinking all of the time, so it just feels nice to drink. But also, the tongue is representative of the body, so all of the different diseases or illnesses are represented, as well as the healthy illnesses are represented there. And they come out in one form or another, and the nitric oxide, the immune system of the face can kill them, mark them and send them back, so the immune system knows to go after those through the whole body. So tremendously good for the immune system. And I just think it is a spiritual part of dry fasting, that this well, this bubbling well of fluid that I get in the mouth is such a beneficial thing in dry fasting, and you can sustain it much more long and more comfortable because you're drinking. It circles water, it brings it up to the face, you can drink it back down, it brings it up to the face, you can drink, it keeps circulating the water and also purifying the water and also blessing the water. And then also through the sinuses, the nasal passageways, through the face and the cranium. These become more important on a dry fast, and also full of nitric oxide. So this whole other layer just kicks in more powerfully on a dry fast. So this whole thing that goes off, because with holographic breathing, this wave-like motion starts happening through the whole face, cranium and whole body. And this just becomes more potent when you're not eating or drinking, because it is the primary nutrition. I mean, you die if you don't breathe for too long. So it is the primary nutrition. and it just becomes more important. And I think the body understands that it's not getting the nutrition it's normally getting from food or water, and it starts deriving more nutrition from the breath. It's also channeling into the brain, channeling into the face, channeling through the whole body. And holographic breathing is a spiritual breathwork. It does activate channels. So that is there. If you drive fast, that is there as an opportunity. Free webinar this Sunday. If it's over by the time you've watched this, it'll be in the link below, or whichever side it is, at the end of the video it will be at the top, and you can click on it and you can learn holographic breathing. And anyway, what we will be doing in that webinar this Sunday is I will be teaching holographic breathing, so you will learn that. And to the main part, we're going to be working with the breathing motion of the spine. Holographic breathing activates this breathing motion through the whole body, which feels very similar to the motion palpated in craniosacral therapy. And there's this movement of the spine that is activated by the breath and activated by the muscles of the breath, and we're going to be working with that. And in particular, we're going to be working with the breathing motion through the hands, feet, arms and legs, but specifically the feet and legs, and how that activates through the pelvis, and then how that activates through the whole spine. And over several webinars we'll be looking at how that relates to the whole spine, but in this webinar we're going to be working with the psoas muscle. And luckily I've got a pelvis here, and I'll just show the psoas muscle comes from the inside back, well, inside of the hip joint here. There's a spur there, kind of back inside, and it comes up over here and then runs up the first four vertebrae, 4 or 5, maybe 6 vertebrae. The muscles of the body are tightening to produce the in-breath, and they're relaxing on the out-breath. And with the movement of the hands and feet, there's a tightening on the in-breath and a relaxing on the out-breath. And the same through the psoas muscle. It tightens, and those 5 vertebrae shorten on the in-breath, then lengthen on the out-breath. People experience the breath of the body as everything opening on the breath, but the muscles shorten to produce the breath. And the spine, there's an opening of the breath to the sides, but the body shortens and widens on the in-breath, lengthens and narrows on the out-breath. So you get this movement, you get this condensing of the spine on the in-breath and lengthening on the out-breath. It's a twofold thing. One, it pulls the spine straighter, so it gets a little bit longer, but also it pulls through the whole spine, through each vertebrae. It's all pulling together, so it compresses it as well. So there's a bit of both going on, but you really feel that breathing motion in the psoas muscle and the lumbar vertebrae there, or lumbar running into the thoracic vertebrae, the bottom vertebrae. And we'll be relating this to an energy circuit. We'll be working with 2 energy circuits. We'll be working with the back of the body and an energy circuit I call the deep earth energies. Deep, dark, very grounding, very beneficial, nurturing earth type energy. And then slightly forwards, which incorporates the psoas muscle, you've got the fire energies, which includes the heart, the ovaries, the testes, the uterus and prostate. And we will be moving from the deep earth energies into the fire energies, and we will be working with the genitalia, with the ovaries and testes, uterus and prostate, and how they relate to the lower spine. And this movement of the psoas muscle, and that's deeply healing for the genitalia and the lower back, and it instigates the kundalini running up through the spine and up through the brain. So quite a deep webinar. And it is kind of a small part of an advanced webinar where we're working with all of the vertebrae of the spine, all of the organs through the torso and the brain, and how they relate to the different vertebrae, all the energy points through the face, all the energy points through the cranium for all of these different circuits and different energies. But we seem to be particularly aligning the organs with the spine and the vertebrae, each organ relating to specific vertebrae. And this is transcendental. This brings a whole orb of healing, because we're connecting the autonomic nervous system, which is the organs, the brain, what happens automatically, with the somatic nervous system to do with the muscles, the bones, movement, and what we do. And there's this breathing motion through the whole body, this breathing motion of the arms and legs, this breathing motion of the spine, and we're connecting the energies of the fire circuit and the energies, in this case of the genitalia, to this breathing motion in the spine. And that brings what is unconscious together with what is conscious. And this seems to ignite the bardo in the spine, or the healing of all of our past lives, all of our karma. Starts transcendental work through the spine, starts healing through the vertebrae. The spine holds a whole world that is to do with our transcendence, with our connection to God, with the clearing of our karma. The spine has a very particular quality and energy to it. And that is what we are provoking in this webinar series. And just talking about it, I can feel that energy going off in my spine, the connection to my organs, the coming together of the energy system, the vagus nerve, the autonomic nervous system, the organs, that whole system, how they work on it, together with the energies and movement of the spine, which is both, it's autonomic and somatic, and this breathing motion. And it somehow ignites the ability to initiate the kundalini of the spine and the transformation of our karma, not just of this life, but of every lifetime and every existence, and moves us forwards onto a different level, and a God-like level, or communication with God, or communication with the higher self. So if you want the meditations to go with that, click on the link in the description below, or click on the link at the end of this video. I enjoyed talking about this because really feel I love that Kundalini in the spine. I love the spiritual connection to it. And when I talk about it, holographic breathing does have channels. I am fed by channels when I talk about the holographic breathing or teach the holographic breathing, and they come in, this all connects together and works beautifully. I feel the organs coming to life. Anyway, if you would like to engage in that and learn that for yourself, click on the link in the description, click on the link at the end of this video. And also in the description there will be a page on my website. It has 35 past webinar recordings. They all have guided meditations and tutorials in them. They're all potent, they're all in depth, they're all on different subjects. There's a whole wealth of goodies there. And if you wish, you can come to the advanced webinars where we really take this into more depth and more powerfully. Okay, well, thank you for listening. I hope to see you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.